Alright, so just a quick video to update everyone as to where things are at currently. Today is May 13th, Monday the 13th of May. It's been a couple of months since the last update or the last video with the hydroponic system. Now the hydroponic system works. I'll just get that out of the way. The hydroponic system works, but there have been issues. I know from after the last video I saw some comments. There was one about burying the reservoir, which I know a lot of persons tend to do. They tend to bury the reservoir, and one of the reasons for that is to reduce to keep the reservoir cool, especially in the heat of the day. Now, I've never had issues with the temperatures the heat of the water in that system. It's never really been a concern. At some point I will, but for right now it's not like it's a major concern where it's not a concern at all at this point. Granted, we're still in the cooler months. I have to test it, especially in the hotter months, to see what the experience is like, especially nowadays because it is getting hotter compared to what we're used to. So that is something that will be done, but it's not like it's a pressing issue right now. One of the bigger issues I was having was birds. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I would have posted a picture. I think I posted a picture because it's been a while, about some birds. Now what was happening was these, I don't know if they'd be considered pigeons, but what they were doing was they were drinking water early in the morning in the system, and especially once the lettuce had some size on them, instead of walking on the pipes, they ended up walking on the lettuce, and what that was doing was it ended up cutting up the lettuce. So I could stay from my room and I could see pieces of lettuce leaves falling on the ground, which is not really what you want. So I had put up something to cover the system to prevent that from continuing to happen. It was just a piece of shade cloth kind of over the system. It was low enough that it kept them away for a little while. One or two eventually would understand how this thing works and would fly under it. Granted, I don't think they like doing it because sometimes they'd fly into the pipes, like hit the pipes, in an attempt to get to fly under the shade cloth. So it wasn't the norm, but that was happening. So that was an issue for a little while. But the plants did come to a good size, and then they were transplanted. But that bird problem was a problem. So the set that you saw in that video, they were sort of stressed because of the birds, the constant knocking about. The other issue was, in attempt to drink water out of the system, because that's why the birds were there. One of the things that they were doing was, I guess if they got frustrated enough, they were pulling the lettuce, like the whole thing. Whether it's to me it's deliberate, pulling the entire plant out of the system, so the net cup and everything would be on the ground, so that they could freely drink the water. So the first time I thought, okay, coincidence. The next day it happened again, and I thought, okay, maybe this particular bird is catching on that this is what he has to do to get water. Because every afternoon I go home and I notice I cover back the hole. If the plant is still alive, I would just wash it off and replant it. If the plant is dried up to the point where I don't think it will survive, I take it out and I put in an empty net cup. Or I'd put in another lettuce, like one of the extras that I might have. So the bird just kept doing this thing where every day I go, there is at least one. I think the most I saw out at any one time was maybe 3 or 4. And it's not like it's a lot of lettuce I'm planting. It's only 130 holes in that system. So you can imagine if I'm losing at least 1 lettuce per day, maximum 3 lettuce per day, it will become an issue. And I didn't want the shade cloth to completely cover the sides because I still wanted ventilation, because otherwise the other issue would be the heat. The shade cloth was helping with the temperatures to some extent, but I found if I cover the sides, it will get really hot. And when I say really hot, depending on what country you're from, I don't know what you might think really hot is, but for us, really hot would be like 96, 97 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a concern, because although down there tends to be breezy, the shade cloth would restrict some of the breeze that passes through, and early afternoon into late afternoon it would still be kind of hot under there. And that's if we have breeze, because there are times when the wind changes direction or we don't have no breeze whatsoever, and then we have a different problem where it's just too hot. It's just really hot, and then the plants are now getting heat stress, even if the water temperature is okay. You do have to contend with the ambient temperature. So it was a bit of a concern. But that being said, the main reason that the system is down has to do with seedlings, getting seedlings into the system. So based on the system that I would have told you in the video earlier this year, you would know that I would be setting seeds. 2 weeks later I'm transplanting into that system. 2 weeks later they're going into the big system. 2 weeks later they're out. I think I have the maths correctly, so that's 6 weeks and they're out. So I was starting them by seed by myself. When I do it that way, my cost of production would be about $2.73 for cost of production, selling them for $5. Generous profit there. I know persons tend to sell lettuce for $6 and $7, but I don't sell lettuce for $6 and $7 for doing its sake. It has to be a lettuce of a certain size and so forth, but for me $5 is the average of what I would sell it for. So the issue that I was having was something started to eat my seedlings, like from the time they germinate, and they have their sometimes they don't even have their true leaf out. They just have the first 2 leaves out. They don't have their true leaf as yet. Something started to go through and just eat all the seedlings overnight, sometimes in less than an hour. Because when it happened the first time, went to sleep the night. Well, I checked them the night before, they were fine. The next morning I went to water them, all gone. I was confused. I didn't see no tracks. I didn't see no like impressions on the Oasis cubes. And if you know Oasis cubes are soft. I mean, you press on them, that where you pressed, that indentation is there. You will know by the end when you're harvesting the lettuce, you can still see which one you pressed. It still has the indentation. So I didn't see anything, so I was confused. So I set some more seeds. Bear in mind, I'm setting like 150 seeds each time. 150, no, 100. It's almost 150. It's 130 plus, I think it's 10%. I think it's 10%, so 13. Yeah, plus 13, so it'll be 143 around here. So I'm setting that each time, and every time they're eaten. And so what I started to do was check them like at very short intervals, so like at half an hour intervals. So I check them 7 o'clock p.m. they're fine, 7:30 they're fine, 8 o'clock they're fine, 8:30 they're fine, 9 o'clock they're fine, 9:30 they're all gone. And I was confused. I was really confused because I still don't know what's been eating them. I had some pumpkin seedlings as well. Same thing. Out of the blue, I started losing. I think they started going 2 at a time. So if I set like 20, 2 go missing, 2 go missing, and then at some point, all went missing. Like all of them is eaten. And I still haven't been able to figure out what's been eating them. So as a result of that, I stopped setting them where I've been setting them, but I don't have a lot of options to where I can set them. I can't set them in somewhere that's too breezy, because if, let's say, the oasis cubes dry out during the day before I can water them again, they will go flying. So that's an issue. So I can't set them on one side of the house. The other side of the house, which is the preferred side, is where I'm having the issues. So I don't know. An alternative has been to buy seedlings, but if I buy seedlings, it's gonna be like $1 per seedling. That's all seedlings are sold. So if I buy lettuce seedlings at $1 per seedling for 130, it's gonna be, that's $130 right there. Compared to, if I remember correctly, for seeds and oasis cubes, it came down to, I think it's less than $20. But I think it's 6 something and 6 something in seeds, $6 and something cents in seeds, and I think it's $12 and cents for the oasis cubes. I think that's how it goes. Or it might be the other way around. So my cost of production would go up. My cost of production would go up by a little more than $100. So instead of selling each lettuce, so instead of the cost of production per head of lettuce being $2.73, it would be $3.59. So that goes up by almost $1 for cost of production alone. The overall expenses per crop it goes up by just over $100. Is it profitable? Yes. But does it leave a lot of room, especially with how things are growing here in Antigua, where I have to bring in the fertilizer from overseas. Granted, it's 25-pound bags of fertilizer I'm bringing in, and the system is relatively small, so it's not like I'm going through the fertilizer fast. But I still have to manage how much it's costing to buy the fertilizer and to bring it in, because sometimes the fertilizer price seems to fluctuate whenever I look at it. So I usually buy it from the cheaper place, whether it's from the manufacturer website or whether it's from Amazon. But sometimes the price kind of goes up $5, $10 here and there. Still have to pay to bring it in, although I do get the duty-free concessions, but that's if everything is timed properly and I can bring in the farms, because sometimes it does slip my mind and that doesn't happen. So these things I do have to contend with. I have to bring in the seeds, to bring in the grain medium. Everything has to be imported, so it does have to be managed. It does have to be managed. So that is what has been happening. I am hoping that, sorry, I'm at work, so I'm making this video before I go in. The hope is that something can be figured out. I will have to see if I do want to go the route of bringing in, if I do want to go the route of buying seedlings, it just means that the profit margin is going to be lessened, which, I mean, I can work with that, but is it realistic for everyone to do? I don't think so. And at the same time, I am thinking of looking at other things to grow. Lettuce is generally chosen because it's a quick crop, 4 weeks, well, 6 weeks, and 6-week turnover rate, and you can kind of shorten it so that you're harvesting every 2 weeks or so, like what I was trying to do. So I will have to see if I do want to go that route. I'm not 100% sure as yet. I might try it, but then again, when you buy seedlings, a lot of times when you buy seedlings, they come with Pro Mix on them. I don't grow my stuff in Pro Mix. It now means if I go that route, I'm either gonna have to take time and wash off the roots off of all the plants, or, well, I think I'm gonna have to do that. The alternative is to put filters on a lot of the drains to collect the Pro Mix, and I just have to wash those out frequently, especially when they go in first. So I'll have to see which one, and at the same time, I'd have to get a good relationship with a nursery here, because I don't think you can just walk in and buy 130 seedlings of lettuce. I don't know. I've never seen anybody do that, and I know when farmers buy large quantities, they would give the nursery the seeds and the Pro Mix and the trays, and they just grow them for the farmer, or they let them know weeks in advance that, hey, I want X amount of plants by such and such a day, so like 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance, so that when they go, because like they're planning to plant at a particular day, so they can get everything done by then. I'll have to see which option is best. The alternative is, and it's something that I'm looking into with my dad, which is building a small seedling area that's going to be completely enclosed, maybe with chicken wire or so, with one side that I can just lift. And I want to tend to the plants, but I want to set, if I'm going to do that, I want to build it in a way that the system can irrigate itself. So that system it will be a small system that runs on a timer, so I don't have to go to water it, because sometimes things do happen. I'd have to worry about current going per se, because we do have a backup generator. Granted, it does add a cost to the cost of production. It does increase the cost of production, because the seedlings are now going into a system that runs on power. But I don't think it will be, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it'll add that much. I'll just have to work it out to see what the cost of production is in that case, and it does mean I do have to bring in the tray that it can be irrigated in. Could they purpose made trays for these stuff? So I am looking into that. I think it's the one I saw. It's 1 foot wide by 4 feet, 1x4. I think it's 61 US, and that doesn't include what it costs to ship it in the US from the I think it's the agro shop or the manufacturer to the address that's gonna send it down to Antigua. It doesn't include that, so I don't know what including shipping it costs, and I should be able to get it at least the duty off to bring it in. Once you're a registered farmer here in Antigua, you do get the duty off, so I'll have to look into that. But that's what has been happening. So I initially had some issues with the birds. Somewhat resolved that issue, so the birds are no longer an issue. heat, like ambient temperature, was a bit of a concern, but I don't think it interfered with the plants to the extent where it was a problem, because the plants weren't bolting early or anything like that. I just noticed that the ambient temperature was kind of high, but the water temperature was still around 25. Well, okay, I'm going between units of measurement, because earlier I said it was about 95 degrees Fahrenheit ambient temperature, but the water temperature was around 25, I believe, degrees Celsius. 25, 26. On a good day, like if it's really cloudy, 24. But usually around 25, 26 degrees Celsius. So those two things were issues. The seedlings growing seedlings has been an issue, and this is leaving out just getting quality seeds to germinate, because that's been another headache. But because a lot of the varieties that we grow here in Antigua that the agro shops sell, I don't like them. One of them bolt too early. That's Red Rapid. As soon as any kind of little heat come, it sends the bolt. Grand Rapid has been nice. So there is that. Grand Rapid has been nice. But some of the others, I think I've seen Georgia. I think I've seen Iceberg, Minetto. Those two I've seen and I've tried. I just can't get them to germinate. I've tried them twice in the past. And this is with buying it from the agro shop, and like there's still like a year and a half where the I forget what it's called, but on the packet it says that it's good by you, best if used by or something like that. 99% germination rate is written on the packet and all that stuff, and I just can't get them to grow, so I don't buy Minetto and Iceberg. I was doing, I think it's Black something Simpson. That was okay. But a lot of these seeds come from overseas anyways, so outside of that, the issue was just getting something eating the seeds. So that's what's been happening with the system. The big system has Sive in it currently, and they've been just, well, if you know Sive don't really care. Sive is easy to grow. Once they have water and they have some nutrients and there's oxygen flowing to their roots, they are okay. They grow fine, they multiply fast. So Sive is in the big system. I don't know if in half the system. I don't know if I'll full it out. I might, and sell Sive for a little while. But I'm looking into some other stuff. I've grown lettuce for, well, in your eyes I haven't grown lettuce for that long, but I've grown lettuce in that system for some time. So I think I want to switch to try some other stuff, because I do help people with hydroponics, so a lot of time is spent on that aspect, and sadly not at home. So there's some other stuff that I want to look into, so that I can do up the cost of production for them and have like a realistic-ish figure. Because to say like, okay, it cost me $2.73 to grow a head of lettuce. This is because I've grown it, I know how it works, the time frame, how much time you're gonna spend, at least on my system, because I can speak for my system. And when I do that, I'm able to help persons and show them this is what it costs, this is what they can sell it for. When you go to the supermarkets and they want to bid you down and tell you, hey, they want to buy your lettuce for $2 or for $2.50 each, you know your cost of production is more than that, so you can't sell it for that price. But they want to sell it for $3, that's up to you. But these are things that you have to contend with, and it's good to know. You have to know your cost of production, because you can't bid with anyone on how low you want to sell your lettuce if you don't know your cost of production. Otherwise, you might get lucky and are able to make a profit, or you shoot yourself in the foot and you're selling below your cost of production, but you don't really know. So that's what's been happening. That's my short update. It's been, I have no idea. This says 31 minutes. But this says 25. So that's what's been happening. I will keep you informed. If I'm gonna buy seedlings, it'll probably be within the next week or two. And if I do, of course, I will make a video on that. I haven't really been, my problem with the videos is I've been recording a lot. So there was an update video that was recorded when I was having the issues with the birds and so forth. There was a video recorded for that. Editing, time to edit is another matter, because a lot of this is like a one take video done through live that I'll just upload to YouTube. But for a lot of the other videos, it's footage over a day or two and of different things with B-roll and so forth, sometimes 2 cameras, so there's more work that goes into it. So yeah, that's what's been happening. It's not like I have, just editing it is another matter that I have to look into. I have to do more often. But I was doing school. I'm doing my internship now. So the work, the book part of it, the theory, all of that is finished. So I do have some more time available. So hopefully, as I record, I can just edit and get things up faster. We will see. But the real test is, if you see 2 weeks pass, 2 to 3. No, if you see 3 weeks pass and nothing is uploaded, then you know how things have been. So yeah, this is the update video. I hope everyone's doing well, and hopefully we can get through this together, because I'm not giving up on hydroponics. At work, I have a system here that I want to get back up and running. I don't know if I can do it during my internship, but there is some work that has to be done to this system as well. But I will leave that for another video, because that is work with the Ministry of Agriculture, which I don't want to involve too much before I have a serious conversation with my supervisor and stuff about doing that. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.